In particular, the microwaves that are built over the range, they have the vent exhaust feature, which is great for when you're cooking. But the thing about it is there are different filters on there that if you've had the same microwave for years and years and years, and especially if you fry a lot of food and you cook a lot of things with really strong smells, and you use the vent every time you cook, that smell is going to build up in those filters and inside the microwave. So that's kind of another set of things to look at and check. And there's certain steps to cleaning those and all that. And those can even get enough grease buildup in them sometimes to where they'll I actually had a call, and the complaint was that the microwave was leaking. And at first, I said, well, maybe they meant to make it on their dishwasher. I didn't know what was going on. So I called the customer, and they said, yeah, whenever we cook on our oven, our microwave leaks. And okay, well, I just got to see it. I have no idea what could be causing this. So what it ended up being was they probably fried foods at least once every day or two. And every time they did, they would have the exhaust going. They did that for years. There was so much grease buildup on the inside. When the oven underneath heated up, it would literally just start dripping all that grease. So,
Lovely.
yeah, just certain things to kind of be careful for and how you use it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Just some extra flavoring in the dishes there.
Oh,
Um,
goodness, yeah.
yeah. So for anyone with an over-the-range microwave, is that something to be particularly aware of in terms of you're essentially, is it, could you consider it as your range as two, like one filter covering two appliances or covering your cooktop and your microwave, which might need changed or cleaned more regularly?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, a lot of times you'll find the instructions in the owner's manual. And if you didn't come with one, or you just moved in and you don't find it anywhere in the house, you can always, of course, look online at the owner's manual. But all over the range microwaves, underneath always has one or two filters. And they're kind of like a metal mesh filter. And that's really the first line of defense as it's venting from the cooktop. And those will generally, as you push it either forward or back away from you, maybe about half an inch, they just fall out. You could soak those in a degreaser. You could clean them in hot soapy water and let them dry. Those are pretty simple. The one that's a little harder to get to that most people don't even really know it exists is there is actually a filter behind the vent. When you look at the microwave, as if you were to open the door, right above it, you'll see a plastic vent going all the way across. On top, there are typically 2 to 4 screws that hold that vent in place, and it will either slide to the left or right about a half an inch and come off, or it'll pop right off. That should be in your owner's manual because there is another filter behind that. And most microwaves, the only way you can access that filter is to remove that cover.
Right, yeah, and you're getting a little bit more intense work in
Mhm.
terms of removing that. And how often would you recommend someone does both filters, I guess, one or the other?
If you only use the vent exhaust feature on it, maybe a few times a month and not really that often, you could probably get away with cleaning it once every 6 months to a year. But I mean, if you're cooking every day and you're frying a few times a week, you'll probably want to do it once a month, because once those filters get full, especially with grease, it's going to take the path of least resistance. So it's going to start going anywhere else in your microwave it can. When it gets to the point, if it ever does start leaking, it's essentially time for a new microwave because it's covered all of the electronics inside. So